9 months of marriage, 9 months of sleeping beside a man who never touched her, 9 months of questions with no answers, and now she's pregnant. But how? This is a story of a woman who taught. She knew the game, only to discover she was never a player. She was only a prize being moved across the board. Now let's go back to when she knew exactly what she was doing 6 months earlier. The sun was hot over Abuja as Cordelia stepped out of the latest Range Rover that Chief Marriott bought for her 25th birthday. Her heels clicked against the marble floor of Jabi Lake Mall. People turned to stare. They always did. Cordelia was the kind of beautiful that made other women whisper and men forget their own names. Her skin glowed like expensive chocolate. Her hair fell in perfect waves down her back. And her style? Nobody in Abuja dressed like Cordelia. "Madam, your usual table is ready," the waiter at her favorite restaurant said with a smile. She smiled back. This was her life, shopping at the best stores, eating at the best restaurants, flying to Dubai whenever she felt like it, and all of it paid for by Chief Marriott, one of the richest men in Abuja. Yes, he was married. Yes, he has a family. But Cordelia didn't feel bad about it. She wasn't breaking up a home, she always said to herself. She never called him. She never showed up uninvited. He came to her. Always. "Baby girl, I miss you," Chief would say on the phone, his deep voice full of warmth. "I miss you too," she would reply, though she wasn't sure if she meant it. Chief Marriott was in his late 50s, with gray hair and a belly that showed he enjoyed good food, but he was kind to her. He never raised his voice. He bought her anything she wanted. And sometimes, late at night in her luxurious apartment in Woos 2, he would hold her and talk about his dreams. "I'm going to marry you one day," he said once, his eyes serious. Cordelia laughed softly. "Chief, stop playing. You have a wife." "I'm serious, Cordelia. I want you to be mine. Properly. Legally." But Cordelia always changed the subject. Marriage? No. She liked her freedom. She liked spending his money without the burden of being a wife. Why would she give that up? Life was perfect. Until the day Chief called her to his office in the Central Business District. Cordelia wore a stunning yellow dress that hugged her body in all the right places. Her makeup was flawless. Her perfume was expensive. She walked into Chief's glass office like she owned the world, but Chief wasn't alone. A young man sat across from him, tall, handsome, with sharp cheekbones and serious eyes that seemed to see right through her. "Ah, Cordelia." Come, Chief said, standing up with his arms open. "I want you to meet someone very important." The young man stood too. He was wearing an expensive suit, and when he looked at Cordelia, something flickered in his eyes, something she couldn't read. "Cordelia, this is my son, Jeff. Jeff, meet Cordelia, a very dear friend of mine." Jeff extended his hand. "Nice to meet you." His hand was warm, his grip was firm. And when their eyes met, Cordelia felt something she hadn't felt in years. A spark. "Nice to meet you too," she managed to say. They talked for a few minutes about nothing important, business, traffic, the weather. But the whole time Cordelia could feel Jeff's eyes on her, not in a dirty way, but in a way that made her feel seen. When she left Chief's office that day, she didn't think much of it. But 3 weeks later, her phone rang with a number she didn't recognize. "Hello?" "Hi, Cordelia, it's Jeff, Chief Marriott's son." Her heart skipped. "Jeff? How did you get my number?" "My father gave it to me," he said simply. "I hope you don't mind, I couldn't stop thinking about you since we met." Cordelia should have said no. She should have ended the call right there. But something in his voice made her stay on the line. "What do you want, Jeff?" "I want to know you. I want to take you out. I want to see if this feeling I have is real." "What feeling?" that you're the most interesting woman I've ever met." And just like that, Cordelia found herself saying yes. Their first date was at Inkoyo restaurant in Jabi. Jeff wore jeans and a simple shirt, so different from his father's flashy style. They talked for hours, about life, about dreams, about everything and nothing. "What do you do?" Cordelia asked. "I run my father's shipping company." "It's boring work, but it pays well." "Why is a handsome man like you single?" Jeff smiled, but it didn't reach his eyes. "Maybe I was waiting for the right person." They went on more dates, to the cinema in Silverbird, to art galleries in Woos, to quiet spots by Jabi Lake where they could talk without the whole city watching. And slowly, something terrifying happened. Cordelia fell in love. Real love. Not the comfortable arrangement she had with Chief. Not the transactional relationship where money bought affection. This was different. This was real. Jeff made her laugh. He listened when she talked. He remembered small things she said. And when he looked at her, she felt like she was the only woman in the world. But there was a problem. His father. Cordelia knew she had to tell Chief. It was the right thing to do. So one evening she drove to his office with her heart pounding in her chest. "Chief, we need to talk." He looked up from his papers, concerned. "What's wrong, baby girl?" "It's about Jeff, your son. We've been seeing each other, and Chief, I think I'm falling in love with him." She waited for the explosion, for the anger, for the jealousy. But Chief just smiled. "Is that so?" he said calmly. "I'm sorry, Chief. I didn't plan for this to happen, but he's a good man. He makes me happy. And I think this could be something real." Chief stood up and walked around his desk. He put his hands on her shoulders, his eyes soft. "Cordelia, you are a young woman. My son is a young man. If you two have found something special, who am I to stand in the way?" Cordelia couldn't believe it. You're okay with this?" "Of course, but you know what this means, right? You and we have to stop seeing each other. No more calls, no more meetings. You'll be with my son now." Tears filled her eyes. "Thank you, Chief. Thank you for understanding. You're a good man." He kissed her forehead gently. "Be happy, Cordelia. That's all I want for you." And just like that, it was over. Chief stopped calling. He didn't reply to her birthday messages or her holiday greetings. It was like she never existed in his life. But she didn't mind. She had Jeff now. 6 months later, Cordelia walked down the aisle in a stunning white dress. The wedding was small but beautiful, held at a private venue in Asokoro. Jeff's father, Chief Marriott, was there, smiling proudly. "Take care of her, son," Chief said, hugging Jeff tightly. "I will, Dad." When Jeff kissed Cordelia at the altar, she felt like the luckiest woman alive. And when Chief gave them the keys to a massive house in Maitama as a wedding gift, she knew she had hit the jackpot. The house was a dream. 5 bedrooms, a swimming pool, a garden with flowers she couldn't even name. Marble floors, chandeliers that sparkled like diamonds. "This is ours," Cordelia whispered, walking through the empty rooms. Jeff smiled. "All ours. My father wanted us to have the best." That night, as they lay in their new bedroom, Cordelia turned to Jeff. "I can't wait to start our life together," she whispered. Jeff kissed her forehead. "Me too. But let's take things slow. I made a promise to God that we would wait until after the wedding to, you know?" Cordelia laughed. "Jeff, we are married now." "I know, but let's just take our time, build our connection first. Is that okay?" It was strange, but Cordelia agreed. After all, they had their whole lives ahead of them. What she didn't know was that their whole lives would be spent in a cage made of gold, lies, and secrets that would destroy everything she thought she knew. 1 month passed. Then 2. Then 3. Cordelia told herself to be patient. Jeff was a gentleman. He was taking things slow, building their connection, just like he said. But when 3 months turned into 6 months and 6 months turned into 9, Cordelia started to feel something she had never felt before in her beautiful Maitama house: fear. Every night Jeff came home from work. Every night they ate dinner together. Every night they talked about their days. And every night Jeff kissed her on the forehead and went to sleep on his side of their massive bed. He never touched her. Not in the way a husband should touch his wife. Cordelia would lie awake in the darkness, listening to Jeff's breathing, wondering what was wrong with her. Was she not beautiful anymore? Did he not find her attractive? Was there someone else? "Jeff, is everything okay?" she asked one night, her voice small in the darkness. "Everything's fine. Why do you ask?" "It's just, we've been married for 9 months now, and we still haven't—" "I told you, I want us to build our connection first. What's the rush?" But 9 months wasn't a rush. 9 months was a lifetime when you're sleeping next to someone you love but can't have. Cordelia started to notice other things too. Jeff never wanted to take pictures with her. When she tried to hold his hand in public, he would gently pull away. When she said, "I love you," he would just smile and say, "That's nice." Something was wrong, terribly wrong. But Cordelia pushed the thoughts away. She focused on making their house a home. She cooked his favorite meals. She made sure everything was perfect. She told herself that love takes time. Then, one Tuesday afternoon, everything changed. Her phone rang. The caller ID said Chief Marriott. Cordelia's heart jumped. She hadn't spoken to Chief since before the wedding. Almost a year of silence. "Hello? Cordelia, it's Chief. I need to see you. Can you come to my office today?" His voice sounded different, colder. "Chief, I don't think that's a good idea. I'm married to your son now. I know who you're married to. This is about business. It's important unless you're too busy." Something in his tone made her agree. "Okay, I'll come." 2 hours later, Cordelia walked into Chief's office in the Central Business District, the same office where she first met Jeff, the same office where her life changed forever. Chief was sitting behind his desk, looking older than she remembered, but his eyes were the same, sharp, calculating. "Cordelia, you look beautiful, as always." "Thank you, Chief. What did you want to see me about?" He stood up and walked around the desk slowly, too slowly. "I missed you." Cordelia's stomach dropped. "Chief, please don't—" "Don't what? I can't say I miss someone who used to be very important to me." He moved closer. "We had something special, Cordelia. Real. And then you left me for my son. You said you were okay with it. You said you wanted me to be happy." Chief laughed, but there was no humor in it. "I said a lot of things, but do you know what I realized? I don't like sharing, especially not with my own son." He reached out to touch her face. Cordelia stepped back, her heart racing. "No, this is wrong. I'm married to Jeff now. I'm your daughter-in-law. This can't happen." Chief's face changed. The warmth disappeared completely, replaced by something cold and dangerous. "You think you're too good for me now? You think being married to my son makes you better than what you were? You were a kept woman, Cordelia. Don't forget that." Tears stung her eyes. "Please, Chief, don't do this." "Get out of my office," he said quietly, dangerously. "But remember this. Let's see who has the last laugh." Cordelia ran. She ran out of his office, down the elevator, into her car. Her hands shook so badly she could barely hold the steering wheel. What did he mean? "Let's see who has the last laugh." By the time she got home, the sun was setting over Abuja. The beautiful house in Maitama looked like a painting in the golden light. But to Cordelia, it suddenly looked like something else. A trap. She had to tell Jeff. She had to tell him everything. No more secrets. No more lies. Jeff came home at 7 p.m., just like he did every evening. He was wearing his work clothes, his tie loosened, looking tired. "Welcome home, honey," Cordelia said, her voice shaking. "How was work?" "Long, very long." He dropped his briefcase and headed for the bedroom. "Jeff, wait. I need to talk to you. It's important." Something in her voice made him stop. He turned around slowly. "Okay. What is it?" They sat in the living room, the expensive chandelier casting shadows on the walls. Cordelia's heart was beating so loud she was sure Jeff could hear it. "Please don't judge me," she started, tears already falling. "You might hate me after this, but I need to get this burden off my chest. I haven't been completely honest with you." Jeff's face was unreadable. "Go on. Before I met you, before we started dating, I used to date your father." She watched Jeff's face for a reaction, shock, anger, something, but there was nothing. Chief Marriott was he was my sugar daddy. He sponsored everything. My lifestyle, my apartment, my trips, everything. I knew he was married, but I never met his family. I never asked questions. I enjoyed the life he gave me. The tears came harder now, choking her words. And today, he called me to his office. He tried to. He made passes at me. He said things, terrible things. And I told him no. I told him, "I'm married to you now," but he got angry. He threatened me. She grabbed Jeff's hands desperately. "I'm so sorry. I should have told you from the beginning. But I was scared. I was scared you would leave me. I was scared you would hate me. Please, Jeff, please say something." The silence stretched between them like an ocean. Then Jeff did something Cordelia didn't expect. He hugged her. He pulled her close and held her tight. Cordelia sobbed into his chest, relief flooding through her body. "It's okay," Jeff whispered. "It's okay." "You're not angry?" Jeff pulled back and looked into her eyes. His face was calm. Too calm. "I'm not angry, Cordelia, because I already knew." The world stopped spinning. "What?" "I've always known you were my father's mistress. That's the reason I married you." Cordelia felt like someone had punched her in the stomach. I don't understand." Jeff stood up and walked to the window, his back to her. When he spoke, his voice was flat, empty. "My father instructed me to marry you. You wouldn't marry him, so he wanted you closer to home, under his control. And I'm a good son, Cordelia. I do what my father tells me to do." No, this can't be real. You loved me, our dates, our conversations. That was real." Jeff turned around, and for the first time since she met him, Cordelia saw something in his eyes, hate, pure, burning hate. "I don't love you," he said simply. "I'm not in love with you. I never was. This marriage is a contract, a business arrangement, and when I get tired of it, I'm going to call it off. Simple as that." Cordelia couldn't breathe, couldn't think. "Jeff, please." "Oh, and one more thing." His voice was ice. "Since we're being honest with each other, do you want to know where my father was the day my mother died?" Cordelia's blood ran cold. 5 years ago, my mother was in a car accident. She was dying in the hospital, calling for my father, begging to see him one last time. But he didn't come. Do you know why? Tears streamed down Cordelia's face. "Jeff, please stop." "Because he was with you." Jeff's voice cracked with rage. "I followed his car that day. I wanted to know where he always went, why he was never available for his own family. And I found him at your apartment, laughing, drinking, while my mother took her last breath alone." Cordelia fell to her knees, her whole body shaking. "I didn't know. I swear I didn't know. Jeff, please, I never wanted to hurt anyone. But you did hurt people. My mother died because my father chose you over her, and now you're stuck in this marriage with a man who despises you. Karma is funny like that, isn't it?" Jeff walked toward the door. "Wait!" Cordelia screamed, crawling after him. "I love you. I love you deeply, Jeff. I've never fallen in love with anyone like this before. Please, I'll do anything to make you happy. I'm a changed woman. I'll be whatever you want me to be. Just please, please don't leave me." Jeff looked down at her with disgust. "You're pathetic." He grabbed his car keys and walked out the door. The sound of the engine starting was like a knife in Cordelia's heart. She lay on the cold marble floor of their beautiful house and cried until no more tears would come. Hours passed, maybe days. Cordelia didn't know anymore, but then she dragged herself to the bathroom. She needed water. She needed to wash her face. She needed to do something. That's when she saw it. The pregnancy test she had bought weeks ago, sitting in the bathroom drawer. She had been feeling sick lately, tired, nauseous. With shaking hands, she took the test and waited. 2 pink lines appeared. Positive. Cordelia stared at the test in horror, but how? Jeff never touched her, not once in 9 months. Unless, a memory flashed in her mind. Weeks ago, Jeff had come home late, very late. He smelled like alcohol. She had helped him to bed. He had kissed her. His hands had... No, she couldn't remember. It was too blurry, too dark, but now she was pregnant. And she had no idea what that meant. Was it Jeff's baby? Was it even possible? Or was it something else? Something worse? Cordelia looked at herself in the mirror, at her beautiful face now swollen from crying, at her expensive clothes and jewelry, at the golden cage she lived in, and she realized something terrifying. She didn't know anything, not about Jeff, not about Chief, not about this house or this marriage or this life she thought she had. She was a puppet, and someone else was pulling the strings. But who? And more importantly, why? 3 days passed since Cordelia discovered she was pregnant. 3 days of living in a house that felt like a tomb. Jeff hadn't come back home. His phone went straight to voicemail. It was like he had disappeared into thin air. Cordelia sat in the enormous living room, staring at nothing. The pregnancy test was hidden in her purse like a secret bomb. She couldn't think straight, couldn't eat, couldn't sleep. How was she pregnant when Jeff never touched her? Unless that one blurry night was real. Unless something happened that she couldn't fully remember. But there was another possibility, one that made her stomach turn. What if it wasn't Jeff's baby at all? Her phone buzzed. Unknown number. Hello? "Mrs. Jeff Marriott?" A woman's voice. Elegant, cold. "Yes. Who is this?" "My name is Grace Marriott, Chief Marriott's wife. I believe we need to talk." Cordelia's blood turned to ice. "I don't think... Meet me at Transcorp Hilton, tomorrow, 2 p.m. Come alone. And Cordelia, if you want to know the truth about what's happening to you, you'll come." The line went dead. The next day, Cordelia drove to Transcorp Hilton with her heart in her throat. She wore sunglasses and a simple dress, trying not to draw attention, but even dressed down, people stared at her beauty. Grace Marriott was waiting in a private lounge on the top floor. She was in her early 50s, but beautiful in a way that time couldn't touch. Her skin was smooth. Her eyes were sharp. She wore a white caftan and gold jewelry that probably cost more than a house. "Sit," Grace said, not unkindly. Cordelia sat. "Why did you want to see me?" Grace poured tea into 2 cups with steady hands. "Because you're about to be destroyed, and I think that's a waste." "I don't understand." "Let me guess you're pregnant. You don't know how. Jeff hasn't touched you in 9 months, and you're starting to think you're going crazy." Cordelia's mouth fell open. "How did you—" "Because you're not the first, Cordelia. You're just the latest." Grace pulled out a folder and placed it on the table. Inside were photos, newspaper clippings, medical records. Chief Marriott has a pattern. He finds beautiful young women, Poor women. Women who need money. He becomes their sugar daddy. He spoils them. And when they try to leave him, he destroys them. Cordelia's hands shook as she looked through the papers. There were 3 other women. All of them looked like her. All of them had dated Chief Marriott. And all of them had disappeared or ended up destroyed. What happened to them? Cordelia whispered. One went mad. They found her talking to herself on the streets of Wusi. One killed herself, jumped off a building in Garki, and one just vanished. Nobody knows where she is. Grace's eyes were like steel. My husband is a sick man, Cordelia. He doesn't just want to own women, he wants to break them. And his favorite weapon? His own son. Jeff, Cordelia breathed. Jeff is trapped just like you. When Jeff's first mother, yes, his real mother, not me, died 5 years ago, Chief broke that boy completely. He blamed Jeff for not being at the hospital on time. He blamed Jeff for being weak. And then he trained Jeff to be his puppet. But Jeff said his mother died from an accident, and Chief was with me that day. Grace's laugh was bitter. That's what Chief told Jeff. But the truth is different. Jeff's mother didn't die from an accident. She died of depression. Because she discovered what her husband was doing to those young women. She found evidence, photos, videos, proof of his sickness. Cordelia felt like she was drowning. And Jeff doesn't know. Jeff knows nothing. Chief fed him lies, made him think his mother died from an accident, and also because Chief was absent and distracted by a mistress. Made Jeff hate that mistress, made Jeff hate you. Also, Chief could use his own son to trap you in this marriage. But why? Why go through all this trouble? Grace leaned forward, her voice dropping to a whisper. Because Chief's plan was never just to keep you. It was to break you down, make you desperate, make you feel worthless. And then when Jeff divorces you like he's been instructed to do, Chief swoops in to save you. You'd be so broken, so grateful, you'd finally say yes to marrying him. You'd replace me as his wife. Cordelia felt sick. Replace you. I'm dying, Cordelia. At least, that's what Chief thinks. Grace smiled, and it was terrifying. I've been taking some medications, small doses, just enough to seem ill, just enough to make him think I'll be gone soon. But I'm not dying. I'm planning. Planning what? Revenge, justice, freedom. For me, for Jeff, for you, for all the women he's destroyed. Grace grabbed Cordelia's hand. But I need your help, and you need mine, because that baby you're carrying, it's not what you think. Cordelia's heart stopped. What do you mean? That night, Jeff came home drunk? Chief planned that. He put something in Jeff's drink at a business dinner, made sure Jeff would come home not knowing what he was doing, made sure something would happen between you two. Chief has been planning this pregnancy for months. But why? Because a baby ties you to this family forever. Even if Jeff divorces you, you'd still be the mother of a Marriott grandchild. You'd still be under Chief's control. That's his endgame. Cordelia stood up, her legs shaking. I can't. This is too much. This is insane. Sit down, Grace commanded, because I'm not finished. We can stop him. We can expose him. We can make sure he loses everything. But you have to trust me, and you have to be brave. Cordelia sat back down slowly. What do you need me to do? Grace smiled. What you do best. Make him unable to resist you, but this time with cameras rolling. 1 week later, Cordelia stood outside Chief Marriott's private residence in Asakoro, not the family house. His secret house, the one he used for his business. She wore a red dress that hugged every curve. Her makeup was perfect. Her perfume was the same one she used to wear when they were together. Grace had given her a tiny camera disguised as a necklace. It was recording everything. Chief opened the door himself. When he saw Cordelia, His eyes went wide. "Cordelia, what are you doing here?" She let tears fall down her face. Real tears, because even though this was a trap, the pain was real. "Chief, please, I'm so sorry. You were right. I made a mistake. Jeff doesn't love me. He hates me. He told me terrible things. And I realized I never should have left you." Chief's face softened. "Come inside." The house was enormous marble everywhere, gold fixtures, paintings worth millions. "Jeff is divorcing me," Cordelia lied, sitting on his expensive leather couch. "He said I was just an assignment, that you told him to marry me to keep me close." Chief poured 2 glasses of wine. "That boy talks too much." "So it's true." Cordelia looked up at him with wide eyes. "You orchestrated everything. Our meeting. Jeff pursuing me. The wedding." Chief handed her a glass and sat beside her. "Very close. Not everything. Jeff genuinely liked you at first. That wasn't planned. But when I saw how he looked at you that day in my office, I knew I could use it." "Use it how?" "I couldn't have you, Cordelia. You kept saying no to my marriage proposals, so I did the next best thing. I had my son marry you. I told him it was a test of loyalty. I told him if he could make you fall in love with him and then break your heart, I would make him chief executive officer of all my companies." Cordelia's hands shook. The camera was getting all of this. "You turned your own son into a weapon." Chief shrugged. "Jeff needed to learn that women like you are not to be trusted. Women like you destroyed his mother. I was teaching him a lesson." "But Jeff's mother, she died from an accident, didn't she?" Chief's face went dark. "That's what everyone thinks. But between you and me, that woman was weak. She couldn't handle the truth about who I am, what I need, so she took the easy way out, left me to raise Jeff alone." Pathetic. Cordelia felt rage boiling inside her, but she kept her voice soft. "And now? What happens now?" Chief moved closer, his hand touching her hand. "Now? Jeff divorces you like I told him to. You'll be broken, desperate. You'll have nowhere to go, and then I'll save you. I'll marry you properly. You'll be the next Mrs. Marriott. You'll have everything you ever wanted. But more importantly, you'll be mine, forever." His hand moved up her face. Cordelia wanted to scream, to run, but she stayed frozen. "And what about the baby?" she whispered. Chief froze. "What baby?" "I'm pregnant, Chief, and Jeff never touched me. Not once in 9 months. Well, except for one night when he came home drunk. A night you arranged." Chief's smile was evil. "So the stuff worked. Good. That child will bind you to this family forever. Even if you wanted to leave, you wouldn't. You'd be the mother of a Marriott." "You're a monster," Cordelia breathed. "No, my dear. I'm a man who knows what he wants, and I always get what I want." He leaned in to grab her. The door burst open. Jeff stood there, his eyes wild. Behind him was Grace, and behind Grace were 2 police officers. "Dad," Jeff's voice cracked. Is this true?" Chief jumped up, his face pale. "Son, I can explain. You lied to me. You told me Mom died because she was weak. You told me she died from an accident. But she killed herself because of you, because of what you do to women." Grace stepped forward, holding a tablet. "We have everything, Marriott. Cordelia recorded your entire confession. The police have been investigating you for years. 4 women, 4 victims, and now we have proof." The police officers moved forward. "Chief Marriott, you're under arrest for conspiracy, coercion, and fraud." As they handcuffed Chief, he looked at Cordelia with pure hatred. "You betrayed me." "No," Cordelia said, standing tall. "I freed myself." Months later, Cordelia sat in a small cafe in Wusei, her hand resting on her growing belly. The baby was real. The paternity test confirmed it was Jeff's. Grace had used all of Chief's assets to compensate his victims. The house in Maitama was sold, Chief was in prison, waiting for trial. And Jeff? Jeff sat across from Cordelia now, his eyes red from crying. "I'm so sorry," he whispered for the 100th time. I didn't know what he was really doing. I thought I was protecting my mother's memory by hating you, but I was just his puppet." Cordelia reached across the table and took his hand. "We were both his puppets, Jeff. Can you ever forgive me? For the things I said? For how I treated you?" Cordelia looked at this broken man, this man who was also a victim, and she thought about forgiveness, about healing, about starting over. "I don't know," she said honestly, "but I know this baby deserves a chance to know the father, the real father, not the one Chief created." Jeff squeezed her hand. "I want to try. I want to be better, to be real with you. No more lies, no more games." Then we start from zero, not as husband and wife, as two people getting to know each other for the first time. Honestly. Jeff nodded, tears streaming down his face. "I can do that. And Cordelia, for what it's worth, that feeling I told you about on our first date, about you being the most interesting woman I'd ever met, that part was real. That was the only real thing in all of this." Cordelia smiled sadly. "Then let's start there." Outside the cafe, Abuja moved on like it always did. Cars honked, people rushed, life continued. But for Cordelia, life was different now. She wasn't a sugar baby anymore. She wasn't a trophy wife. She wasn't anyone's possession. She was just Cordelia. Free, broken, but alive. And that was enough. Grace Marriott stood in her new apartment. She had divorced Chief the day he was arrested, taken back her maiden name, started over at 53. Her phone buzzed, a message from Cordelia. "Thank you for saving my life." Grace smiled and typed back, "You saved yourself, dear. I just showed you the exit." She looked at a photo on her wall. Jeff's real mother, her best friend, the woman who died trying to stop a monster. "I got him," Grace whispered to the photo. "I finally got him. Rest easy, sister." Outside, the city lights began to glow. Somewhere, a woman was falling in love with the wrong man. Somewhere, a girl is not content. Somewhere, a child was being born into a complicated family. Somewhere, someone was learning that not all cages have bars. Life was messy, painful, complicated, but it was also precious, worth fighting for, worth surviving. Please listen carefully. Not every smile is kind, not every gift is free, and not every person who says "I love you" actually means it. Some people don't want to love you, they want to own you. There's a difference, a big difference. Love gives you wings, control builds you a cage. And the scariest part? Sometimes that cage is so beautiful, so comfortable, that you don't realize you're trapped until the door locks behind you. So here's what I need you to remember. If someone makes you feel small to keep you close, that's not love. If someone isolates you from the world to protect you, that's not love. If someone uses your past against you to control your future, that's not love. Real love doesn't manipulate. Real love doesn't trap. Real love doesn't turn you into a project or a possession. It sets you free. So the next time someone offers you the world, ask yourself, what will it cost me? Because nothing in this life is truly free. Everything has a price. The question is, are you willing to pay it with your freedom, your dignity, your soul? Choose wisely, because some cages, once you're locked inside, there's no key, only survivors like Cordelia who fight their way out. Don't be a prisoner in a golden cage. Be free. Even if freedom means starting over with nothing, because nothing is better than everything. When everything comes with chains. Do you understand? Thank you so much for watching. Please support me by liking, sharing, and subscribing. See you in the next one.